Imagine this. A family, full of love, disappears without a trace during a simple camping trip. No signs of struggle, no goodbye, just gone. For 8 long years, their disappearance haunted everyone who knew them, leaving behind only heartache and questions. Then a breakthrough, an unexpected discovery deep in the forest, something that could change everything. But what if the truth is darker than we ever imagined? Stick with us, because the story of love, fear, and mystery will leave you speechless. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know where you are watching from in the comments section, because this journey is far from over. In August 2016, the Thompson family packed their blue Honda Pilot with camping gear, just like they had done every summer for the past 5 years. David Thompson, a 42-year-old software engineer with kind eyes and graying temples, loaded the last of their supplies while his wife, Jennifer, watched from the porch. At 39, Jennifer still had the energy of an elementary school teacher. She was patient, caring, and never seemed to be in a hurry. Their daughter, Emma, bounced excitedly around the car. At 12 years old, she was all knees and elbows, with her mother's warm smile and her father's curious nature. This camping trip to Pine Ridge Campground in Sequoia National Forest was her favorite week of the year. "Can we hike to the waterfall again, Dad?" Emma asked, securing her pink backpack in the trunk. David smiled, but something about his expression seemed forced. "We'll see, sweetheart. We'll see." He said it with a bit of a sigh, as though the answer didn't come from a place of enthusiasm but rather routine. Jennifer noticed the tension in her husband's shoulders. For weeks, he'd been distracted, jumpy even. Strange phone calls that made him step outside. Late nights on his computer that he couldn't explain. But this was their family tradition, their sacred time away from the world. At 10:30 a.m. on August 14, 2016, the Thompson family drove away from their suburban Sacramento home. They waved goodbye to their neighbor, Mrs. Liam, who was watering her garden. None of them knew they would never return. The drive to Pine Ridge Campground took 4 hours, winding through mountain roads that seemed to stretch forever. Emma pressed her face against the window, counting deer and pointing out unusual rock formations. Jennifer tried to engage David in conversation, but his responses were short and distracted. "Honey, what's wrong?" Jennifer finally asked when they stopped for gas. David looked around nervously before answering. "Just work stress," he said, not meeting her eyes. "This project I'm working on, it's complicated." But his eyes told a different story. They held something, fear perhaps, something that didn't belong in the peaceful surroundings of a family road trip. They arrived at the campground at 2:15 p.m. Site 47. Their usual spot was secluded but not isolated, with a clear view of the surrounding forest and easy access to the main trails. David had reserved this exact site for 5 consecutive years. The family worked together to set up their large blue tent. Emma gathered firewood while Jennifer organized their food supplies. David seemed more relaxed now, as if the familiar routine was calming his nerves. At 3:47 p.m., Jennifer sent a text message to her sister, Lisa. Setting up camp, Emma found a cool rock formation. It was the last anyone would hear from the Thompson family, but what happened in the next 30 minutes would remain a mystery for 8 years. Monday morning, August 17th, arrived with the chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of pine trees. Campground manager Tom Bradley made his usual rounds, checking on guests and ensuring checkout procedures were followed. Site 47 should have been empty. The Thompsons were scheduled to leave by 11 a.m., but Tom found their campsite exactly as they had left it. The blue tent stood perfectly erect. Food containers sat neatly on the picnic table, some still sealed. David's wallet lay open next to a half-eaten sandwich, but the family was gone. Tom called out, thinking they might be on an early morning hike. "Thompson family, check out time," he shouted, but there was only silence in reply. He approached the tent and peered inside. 3 sleeping bags were missing, along with their hiking backpacks. But everything else remained. Clothes, toiletries, even Emma's favorite stuffed rabbit that she never went anywhere without. The car keys sat on the picnic table in plain sight. Something was very wrong. At 11:45 a.m., Tom contacted the park service. By 1:30 p.m., rangers had arrived and begun initial searches of nearby trails. By evening, when the family still hadn't returned, the search operation expanded. Detective Maria Sally of the Tuolumne County Sheriff's Office received the call at 8:20 p.m. A missing family wasn't uncommon in the wilderness. People got lost, injured, or simply lost track of time. But something about this case felt different. The campsite was too organized, too intentional. Why would a family take sleeping bags and backpacks but leave car keys, wallet, and a child's beloved toy? By dawn on August 18th, Pine Ridge Campground had transformed into a command center. Search and rescue teams arrived with helicopters, tracking dogs, and over 200 volunteers from surrounding communities. The search focused initially on Devil's Canyon Trail, where the family's cell phones had last pinged at 4:15 p.m. on August 14th. This trail was Emma's favorite. It led to a spectacular waterfall that she photographed every year. Search dogs picked up the family's scent along the trail, but lost it approximately 2 miles in, near a steep ravine that dropped 50 feet into thick forest below. "It's like they just vanished into thin air," said Search and Rescue Coordinator Jake Morrison. "We've covered every inch of this trail 3 times. Helicopter searches revealed nothing. The thermal imaging equipment detected deer, bears, and other wildlife, but no human heat signatures." Detective Sally interviewed the few campers who had seen the Thompson family. All reports were consistent. They appeared to be a normal, happy family. No arguments, no signs of distress. But one detail stood out. Camper Rebecca Martinez remembered seeing David Thompson walking alone toward the forest around 6 p.m. on August 14th. He was carrying a large backpack and kept looking over his shoulder, like he was checking to see if anyone was following him. When asked if she saw him return, Rebecca shook her head. "I went to sleep around 9 p.m. Never saw him come back." This was the last confirmed sighting of any member of the Thompson family. 2 weeks into the search, with no trace of the family found, Detective Sally shifted her investigation from rescue to criminal inquiry. The search was officially called off due to dangerous weather conditions, but the questions were just beginning. She drove to Sacramento to examine the Thompson family's life more closely. What she found painted a picture of suburban normality that seemed almost too perfect. David worked for Tech Secure Solutions, developing security software for various clients. His coworkers described him as reliable, quiet, and brilliant with code. But his supervisor, Michael Liam, mentioned something troubling. The last few weeks before their vacation, David had been acting differently. Paranoid, you might say, Michael told Detective Sally. He kept asking questions about client backgrounds, wanted to know exactly what his software was being used for. Jennifer's life seemed equally normal. Fellow teachers at Riverside Elementary loved her. Parents requested her classroom for their children. She had no enemies, no secrets, no reason to disappear. But Jennifer's sister, Lisa, revealed something that made Detective Sally's instincts prickle. The week before they left for camping, Jennifer called her, crying. "He's been getting strange phone calls at all hours. When I ask about them, he says it's work, but I can hear fear in his voice." Detective Sally's investigation took a crucial turn when she examined the Thompson family's financial records. What she discovered made the case even more puzzling. In the 3 weeks before their disappearance, David had made unusual cash withdrawals totaling $6,000. Each withdrawal was for exactly $2,000, just under the $2,500 threshold that would trigger automatic bank reporting. But that wasn't the strangest part. Bank security footage showed David during these withdrawals. He appeared nervous, constantly looking around, and in one video he seemed to be talking to someone on the phone who was clearly agitating him. More disturbing was David's internet search history, which the FBI helped recover from his home computer. 3 months before the camping trip, David had researched how to live off the grid and how to disappear without a trace. He had also researched cryptocurrency exchanges and had moved $15,000 from their savings account to Bitcoin wallets. Either David Thompson was planning to disappear with his family, or he was planning for something much worse. As months turned to years, the Thompson family's disappearance became one of California's most discussed cold cases. Theories emerged online, ranging from reasonable to bizarre. Some believed David had killed his family and disposed of their bodies in the vast wilderness. Others theorized the family had joined a cult or entered witness protection. The most persistent theory was that David had orchestrated their disappearance to start a new life elsewhere, possibly with another woman or to escape financial problems. But Detective Sally, now retired, never stopped thinking about the case. Something about those theories didn't fit the evidence. Year 3 brought new developments when Jennifer's parents, Margaret and Robert Palmer, hired private investigator James Walsh. Walsh was expensive, but he was thorough. His investigation revealed something troubling about David's work at Tech Secure Solutions. The security software David had been developing was sophisticated, designed to track movement patterns, predict routes, and identify vulnerabilities in transportation networks. It was the kind of technology that could be invaluable to logistics companies or criminal organizations involved in human trafficking. Walsh discovered that one of Tech Secure's clients, a company called Mountain View Logistics, had been under federal investigation for 3 years before the Thompson family disappeared. Mountain View Logistics was a front for a human trafficking ring that moved victims across 3 western states. Walsh tried to interview David's supervisor, Michael, but discovered that Michael had died in a car accident just 6 months after the Thompson family disappeared. The accident report seemed routine, but Walsh noticed something odd. Michael's car had gone off a mountain road at 2 a.m. on a route he had never driven before, heading toward a location he had no reason to visit. In year 5 of the investigation, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Before we continue with this shocking discovery, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the next part of this chilling mystery. Hiker Jenny was exploring abandoned mining areas 8 miles from Pine Ridge Campground when her foot caught on something buried in fallen leaves. It was a child's hiking boot, pink with purple laces. The boot was Emma's size. Testing confirmed it belonged to Emma Thompson. This discovery reignited the search effort. Teams focused on the old mining area with its network of tunnels and shafts, but no bodies, no definitive proof of what had happened to the Thompson family. The discovery of Emma's boot was a grim breakthrough, but it wasn't enough to bring closure. It opened new avenues of investigation, but also left more questions than answers. Jenny's stumble over the buried boot seemed to hint that the family's disappearance was not simply an accident. They hadn't wandered off into the wilderness. They had been close to something, hidden, perhaps, beneath the very ground they had walked on. A team of volunteers combed the area, their eyes scanning every inch of the rugged terrain, but nothing substantial turned up. The old mining tunnels, long abandoned and filled with the poison of past human labor, were dangerous. Some were flooded, others filled with toxic gases. Search teams could only explore a few safely, but no one was ready to give up. Not now, not after so many years of unanswered questions. Dr. James Patterson, a wildlife researcher conducting his usual eagle survey in the region, was working with drone technology when he accidentally stumbled upon something that had been overlooked for years. As the drone's high-resolution camera scanned the area for nesting sites, the device picked up an odd anomaly. A pattern emerged, something artificial, hidden beneath the thick tree cover in a ravine 12 miles from Pine Ridge Campground. The coordinates were recorded, and Dr. Patterson couldn't help but wonder, was this another lost trail, or had they missed something crucial all along? He called the authorities, sending his drone's data to Detective Sally, who had been following the case from the shadows since her retirement. The patterns revealed by the thermal imaging cameras were unlike anything natural. Something or someone had been there, hidden in the thick underbrush and shadows. It wasn't just an abandoned campsite. It looked like a structure, or perhaps a well-maintained hideout. By March 18, 2024, Sheriff's Deputy Michael Torres and a 3-person rescue team rappelled into the ravine, eager to find anything that might shed light on the family's disappearance. The walls of the ravine were near vertical, a treacherous drop of over 100 feet, and the forest was dense, the brush unforgiving. But the drone had captured something definitive, something unexplainable. As they descended into the ravine, the sense of unease was palpable. The forest was silent, as if it too were holding its breath. And then, as they reached the bottom, they saw it. A structure, covered in vines and debris, but unmistakable. It wasn't large, but it was human-made, square, and even. There were remnants of a small campfire, signs of human presence. Used water bottles, food wrappers, and pieces of camping equipment scattered across the ground. But no people, no bodies. There was something even stranger hidden among the debris. A tarp that was still partially rolled up, concealing what looked like large bundles of items, buried hastily under a pile of dirt and leaves. Deputy Torres's heart skipped as he approached, pulling back the tarp to reveal several items. Clothes, a few personal belongings, and, chillingly, a set of 3 backpacks, identical to those the Thompsons had taken on their camping trip. This was it. They had finally found something that tied the family to this remote, forgotten place. But where were they? Why had they been there, and why had they left everything behind? If you're just tuning in, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates on the next part of this gripping mystery. You won't want to miss what happens next. The investigation into the hidden structure deepened. Detective Sally, now working alongside a new team, studied the footage captured by the drone. The structure was isolated, located far from any known hiking trails. It was as if someone had deliberately gone out of their way to create a hidden safe haven. As the investigation continued, an alarming theory began to form. The tech company David worked for, Tech Secure Solutions, was involved in highly sensitive software development. The software he'd been working on before the disappearance was designed to track movement patterns, identify vulnerabilities, and predict travel routes. While initially it seemed innocent, the more Detective Sally dug into Tech's dealings, the more disturbing the connections became. David had been researching how to disappear without a trace. He had studied everything from surviving in remote locations to using cryptocurrencies to launder money. But the biggest revelation came from the interview with his old colleague, Michael Liam, just before his untimely death. Michael had mentioned that David had been asking questions about how the software could be used for more nefarious purposes, not just security. It wasn't hard for Detective Sally to piece things together. It seemed as though David had planned something sinister, and perhaps something that involved his family. But the question remained, had David orchestrated the disappearance to escape something far worse than their perfect life? Or was he simply trying to protect them from something bigger? The discovery of the structure deep in the ravine only confirmed what Sally had feared. The family had known too much. Perhaps they were involved in something much larger than a simple disappearance. And if that were true, then there was a chance that someone else, someone dangerous, had been behind it all. As the investigation grew more complex, new leads emerged from an unexpected source. Jennifer's credit card had been used at a truck stop in Nevada, nearly 200 miles from the campground. A woman resembling Jennifer made a purchase. Camping gear, medical supplies, and prepaid cell phones. The security footage was blurry, but the resemblance was undeniable. Had Jennifer made it out alive? Was she hiding, or had someone been using her identity? With this new clue, the search was revitalized. Detective Sally requested additional forensic analysis on the security footage, hoping to catch any details that could give her a clearer picture. It was at that moment that the biggest twist occurred. Further investigation revealed that the credit card had been cloned. Someone had been using Jennifer's identity, but the real Jennifer Thompson had never made that purchase. Whoever had used the card was deliberately throwing off the trail. By now, 8 years had passed since the family's disappearance. Time had eroded hope, and every new lead seemed to raise more questions than answers. But Detective Sally knew this case wasn't finished yet. They had found too many pieces of the puzzle, and they were getting closer. They had tracked David's movements, pieced together Jennifer's financial records, and even uncovered the hidden structure where the family had been. The discovery of the old mining area had been the key. It had unlocked the secrets of their disappearance, but the real question still lingered. Where was the family? Had they been taken, or had they chosen to disappear on their own? And if they had vanished, who had helped them and why? What do you think happened to the Thompsons? Was it a carefully orchestrated escape or something darker? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for the next shocking revelation. The breakthrough finally came when private investigator James Walsh uncovered a critical piece of the puzzle. He had been following the trail of tech-secure solutions for months, and what he discovered was both shocking and horrifying. Tech software had been used by criminal organizations for illicit activities, including human trafficking. The same software David had developed could have been exploited to track and predict people's movements, making them vulnerable to exploitation. Walsh's investigation linked David's work to Mountain View Logistics, a company operating as a front for a human trafficking ring. It became clear that David had been caught up in something much larger than his family's seemingly normal life. He had been used, manipulated, and eventually forced into a dangerous game. The most harrowing conclusion was that David may have taken his family and disappeared to protect them from the very people who had manipulated him. But there was still one final question. Where were they now? In the months that followed, no further clues emerged, and the case went cold again. Detective Sally retired, but the mystery of the Thompsons haunted her every day. The world moved on, and so did the investigation, but the truth remained elusive. Then, in a final twist, a single phone call came through to Detective Sally's former department. It was from a woman who claimed to be Emma Thompson. The woman's voice was trembling, aged by years of fear and hardship. She claimed to have escaped from the clutches of those who had held her and her family captive. It was the only lead that ever truly felt like a possibility, but, as it turned out, it was nothing more than a false hope. The story of the Thompsons remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries. What truly happened on that camping trip? Did they escape, or were they taken by forces beyond their control? The truth may never fully be known, but the mystery continues to captivate those who dare to look deeper. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more real-life mysteries, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on next episodes. Share this video with others who might be intrigued by the case of the Thompsons, and leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below.